couple of emails come through from people who have been working with the Handmade by Hayley dies, and they're using it on the big shot with a combined plate and having a bit of a struggle. So I thought, well, I'll show you how I've got on with it and kind of the technique that I use. So we've got a big shot here. Obviously, as you can see, let's move that out of the way for a second. Oh, camera moved a bit then, so let's just drop that back. Oh, you can still see. Okay, so with this particular setup, you've got the plate system, and obviously it's got that hinge with it, so it means that you can't readily separate up the plates as you might think. But you've actually got a little rod that sits inside here. You've got a little stopper at one end, so it's, oh no, you haven't, sorry, I thought it was a stopper at one end. But anyway, you've got that kind of tube, I suppose you'd call it, that little bar can go through. So that means if you take that out, and you can pop that back in afterwards, it means you can separate up the plates, because it's all about getting the right combination when you're passing the dies through. So you're going to need the base plate. You're also going to need the thicker of the two plates, so that's plate number 2. So I'm going to pop that down. Now you'll notice that there is a little bit of warping, so do from time to time turn them round. I don't know whether that happens naturally. I've borrowed this machine from somebody, so I'm not quite sure whether that is the way that they are as standard. Then I would take one of the clear plates down. Now I have had success using 4 layers of fabric, so I'll do it with 4 layers of fabric to start with. But what I tend to do is when I'm putting the fabric in, I don't know which end, I'll feed in from this end actually. I don't tend to put the die so as you've got the flat end feeding in first. I will move it so there's a little bit of an angle. Now obviously with this, because of the width that it's cut to, it makes it a little bit tricky to do so, but obviously you've got the width here if you wanted to. So then I'd put the plate on top like so. Just gonna move that to the side so as I can bring the machine in. And then obviously picking the platform up, obviously take things in place if you're wanting to, but then I pass it through just as you would do normal. Obviously the handle will start to move, so you just carry on rotating the machine. You might find there's a little bit of resistance, which if you are cautious, you might think, oh no, I'm going to break the machine, but don't. Persevere. It's almost like going over the brow of a hill, and then you go over the hump of the bridge, or the hill should I say, and then you go back down the other side and it kind of releases. That is just, I'm just going to do it with one pass initially, just so as you can see. So I'm going to bring that out and show you exactly what's gone on. So I'm going to open those up. I've got the dies there, and I'm just going to cut, and you can see there, those have cut through quite easily there, and you've got 4 layers of fabric there, nice and easy. So what you will find, the more resistance or the more layers that you put through, that's when you get the warping. So just be mindful of that. Now I haven't used a metal plate with it, but when I use the Kaleido, I do tend to use a metal plate. So you need to think about it logically when you're building up your platform. So if I'm bringing in a metal plate, and then I've got the thicker plate there, because there was a little bit of resistance to start with, there'll be even more resistance because I'm adding more thickness to that sandwich. So this is where you kind of just need to play around with it and get the combination. So I would put the metal die down, I'll put my 4 layers of fabric again, like so. And I would do exactly the same with regards to the die. Put it as a slight angle. It doesn't have to be like at 45 degrees or anything, just a little slight angle. Think of a wedge going under a door. The thinnest part goes through first, so that's the key thing. But obviously I'm going to change out my platform a little bit because I want to take out number 2. So take that one out and bring in number 1 because it's shallower. Now, I'm hoping that this will be okay. I haven't tried it, but logically it will work. So move the fabric out the way again, bring the machine back in again, load it all up, pass it through, oops, move it back into shot. So again, passing it through, the handle will start turning, so again, go in that direction. Now I can feel there's not a lot of resistance there, so it's not cutting through at all. So it might be that I need to bring in plate number 2. So I'm gonna try number 2. Sorry, making a bit of a noise there. And again, just keep flipping and rotating so as that they don't end up warping too much. And then I'm just going to bring this back in again, and let's see how we get on with this. So again, whoops. So we've kind of jiggled around a bit. Let's layer that up a bit better. Okay. Place that down like so. Again, slight angle there. Now, obviously, I'm going to be mindful that I'm adding a lot more to that sandwich. So I'm going to press it, take it in. Again, that die's at a slight angle there. Press it, the handle will start turning, and you will feel more of a resistance. You can see there, just when I'm moving it there, the whole machine's moving, I'm not holding it down. But if you hold it down and you rotate it, now that is a lot of resistance, so I am going to stop there. So I would say if you're wanting to use the metal shim, which you don't have to because obviously you saw that it worked, you need to find something between the two. So in those circumstances, what I would do is I'd go back to platform insert number 1, and I'd use some copy paper or cardboard to basically make shims to lift it and make it slightly higher to go through. Alternatively, the other way that you can make it slightly thicker potentially, and again going rogue with this, I've got 6 layers now, so I've layered that up to make 6 layers. I'm putting the die on there now, I'm passing that through. So I've got the main platform now, I've got shim number 1 or plate number 1, I don't know how it's referenced, the 2 perspex plates, and then I've got the die, the fabric cutting into the metal plate. So I'm going to pass that through. Let's see how we get on with that. So yeah, again, there's not a huge amount of resistance there. So I've passed it through a couple of times. Let's just do a couple of times. It doesn't feel as if it's cutting at that level there. So I don't know if we're going to have much success with this one. But as I say, doing it the original way is probably your best way. And you can see there, no, it's not cut through. So my suggestion would be, as I've said there, don't use your metal plate. Don't use plate number 1. Use plate number 2. I've still got 6 layers of fabric there. So let's see how it gets on with 6. It managed 4 quite well. So again, bring the machine back in again. Close it together. Whoops. Caught on the corner there, bring that through, and again, whoops, it's caught on the other side now. It's like rubbing your tummy and patting your head. Right, let's bring that in so it lines up properly there. Okay, and then passing it through. Again, let the handle start turning. I'm holding on there. Yeah, a bit of resistance, not overly so. Passing it through once, and this does feel like I've got a successful cut this time. So let's see how we get on. There we go. So this time, I've actually done 6 layers. So you can see there, if you're using your big shot and you're using your platform 1, just need to be careful because obviously when the die is going through, you don't want to do any damage to your fabric when you're doing it too thick. So again, I would probably just stick to 4 to be fair, because you are putting a lot of pressure on your kind of cutting system when you're doing it, and I think 4 is probably the better way to do it. So hopefully that will have helped. So yeah, as I say, big platform. Your 2 perspex plates, plate number 2, and then when you are ready and you're wanting to put it all back together again, then you can do. All you need to do is you get them and you line them up in the order, and then it sits on the bottom there, and you basically take that rod and you feed it through. So you start with the outer plate like so, so feed it through the first little kind of hinge of plate number 1, I think it is there, the base plate, plate number 2, I think it is then, and then basically that will feed all the way through. So that secures them all back in place again, so you've got them working in that original system that you started off with. So hopefully that'll help, but you know where I am if you need me. Hayley at handmadebyhayley.tv if you're wanting to email for any more suggestions. So yeah, hopefully that'll get you on track. See you soon.